The topics that we will review are as follows. 1. The pace of play, including how to play ready golf, and understanding the traditional markings and stakes on a golf course. 2. Golf etiquette, including noise levels and respect for other players, play on the greens, and how to mark a ball and repair ball marks. 3. Review of the new Special Olympics Massachusetts rule modification in regards to the maximum number of strokes per hole. This will be referred to as the double par rule. 4. Hazards. What to do when you hit out of bounds or into a water hazard. And 5. Immovable objects and free relief versus unplayable eye and penalty. This will be a review of your options in both scenarios. We feel that with a stronger understanding of the game, we can all improve our scores and have a great time competing at Special Olympics Massachusetts tournaments and invitational events.
There are a few ways to play ready golf and help in speeding up the pace of play during a Special Olympics Massachusetts tournament. Here are some tips to speed things up at the tee box prior to playing your first shot. As a unified team, you need to know which player is teeing off on odd or even holes. Before arriving at the tee box, the players should know whose turn it is to tee off at the designated hole. Level 2 teams remember that the 9th and 1st tee are both odd, so the player designated to tee off on odd holes will tee off at both. When your group is ready to tee off at any given hole, always be ready. Have your clubs selected, and have your tee and ball ready so that when it is your turn, there is minimal delay in hitting your shot. If you believe your ball is lost or out of bounds, you should immediately announce to all players in your group that you will hit a provisional shot. Provisional shots, when to take them, and how to proceed will be covered later. Once you have taken your first shot, head directly to your ball with your team or caddy. However, you should keep safety in mind at this point. If your ball is in front of another player or in their line, you will want to wait patiently and quietly to the side, allowing them to complete their shot before heading directly to your ball. When you arrive to your ball, your team should keep conversation brief and make a shot selection in a timely manner. Yardage markers are a beneficial tool that all golfers should use when determining their shot selection. Knowing how far you are from the hole will help you decide which club you should hit for your next shot. Understanding the distance and making a shot selection quickly keeps up the pace of play and makes the tournament enjoyable for all competitors. Courses mark their yardages in different ways, but most commonly, the course will mark 3 distances using the same color system. The first marker commonly seen after leaving the tee box is the blue marker. Blue typically marks 200 yards. The second marker commonly seen is the white marker, which typically marks 150 yards. The final marker commonly seen on courses is the red marker, which is 100 yards. These measurements are to the center of the green and can be a great guide to use in selecting a club. Now that we understand how to read the markers, the next question is, where are they found? Courses mark their yardage in different ways, but here are some of the most common ways. Wooden stakes, either in the fairway or off to either side of the rough as to not interfere with play. In-ground markers. Some courses place their markers in the ground, usually centrally located in the fairway. on trees or fixed permanent objects just off the fairway, but visible for the hole. One final tip when you're between markers is to check your surroundings for any sprinkler heads. Some courses will mark sprinkler heads in addition to the 200, 150, and 100-yard markers. These are very useful when you are between the traditional markings and are trying to gauge your distance. With the growth of golf here at Special Olympics Massachusetts, we are always looking at how we can improve the experiences for all participants. For golf, pace of play is an issue that is always in the front of everyone's mind. The new double par rule being instituted at all levels will not only help in improving the pace of play, it will improve everyone's overall enjoyment of the game. So let's review the new rule and what is changing here in Massachusetts. The double par rule will be replacing the 10x rule. The old rule allowed teams to take up to 10 strokes to hole out before having to pick up and move on to the next hole. This can cause a large backup on the course, causing multiple groups to be playing on the same hole and possibly hitting into a group in front of them. As an effort to improve the pace of play and keeping safety and enjoyment of the game in mind, we will be changing the 10x rule to be double par. Once the ball is in play on each hole, the players shall play their ball according to the rules until they hole out or reach double par for that hole. If a team or individual reaches double par on a hole prior to holing out, they will indicate this on their scorecard by recording double par X. So for a par 3, they would record 6X and proceed to the next hole. Remember that an attempted swing that misses the ball does count as a stroke. The X is an important indicator to remember when this rule is in play. The X shows the tournament officials that the individual or team did not complete the hole in double par and they picked up to move to the next hole. The double par X's will still be used as a tiebreaker when teams or individuals have a tie for the number of strokes at the completion of the tournament. Golf courses have immovable objects that will allow a player to receive free relief should their ball, intended stance, or swing be interfered with by the object. The most common immovable objects players encounter that would allow for free relief are sprinkler heads, cart paths, and ground under repair. Line of play does not receive free relief. An example of this is if you are putting from the fringe of the green, and in your intended path there is a sprinkler head. In this situation, you would not receive free relief, and would play the ball as it lies. So, how do you go about taking free relief if your ball or intended swing is on the cart path? The player will take their stance, and from this position they receive 1 club length of relief. A pro tip in this situation: use your driver as the club to measure relief. The driver is traditionally the longest club in the bag and will result in the largest area of relief. The relief must be no nearer to the hole than the original placement. Once relief is taken, if the ball is still unplayable, you must proceed under the unplayable rule. Who determines if the ball is unplayable? A player may deem their ball unplayable at any place on the course, except when the ball is in a water hazard. The player is the sole judge as to whether their ball is unplayable. If the player decides to take an unplayable, they must select, under penalty of 1 stroke, one of the following options. Play a ball as nearly as possible at the spot from which the original ball was last played. As an example, if your tee shot were unplayable and you selected to play from the previous spot, you would go back to the tee box and hit another shot. Drop a ball behind the point where the ball lay, keeping that point directly between the hole and the spot on which the ball is dropped. There is no limit how far behind the original place the ball may be dropped. Drop a ball within 2 club lengths of the spot where the ball lay. The relief must not be nearer to the hole.
I've been golfing since I was 10 years old. Now I am 30 years old and I have competed in Special Olympic golfing events since 2003. I have won 11 state golf tournaments in a row. I've also competed in the national stage 3 times, winning second place each time. Golf has not only taught me great skills on the course, but off the course as well. It's taught me how to be a great man and a nice gentleman, and have a great time on the course.